Hey, everybody, what is going on? Serial Overdrive here, and if you guys are looking at this screen right now, you know right now I'm wearing some expensive high-end armor. I'm wearing about 500 PEDs or 50 USD worth of armor right now on my character in Entropia Universe, and we're going to be going big. We're going to be hunting some hoglos, folks. So yeah, it's Serial Overdrive here. I'm back to Entropia Universe, because a lot of you guys thought I quit, a lot of you guys thought I was gone forever, but like I keep saying, that's never going to happen. I like Entropia Universe as much as sometimes I put out negative videos. I like the game. I like where I see it going. I like what Mindark's done with it. I love the fact it's been around for so long, and it's just been like I've probably almost played this game for half my life, and people think I'm gonna leave just because I haven't played for a month. Like, come on, folks, come on. Of course, I'm going to be making Entropia Universe videos still, and here we are with the next one. So I'm headed out with an LR30, an AR Matrix 30, or yeah, AR Matrix LR30. That's a little long, but yeah, whatever. You guys know what I mean. I'm headed out with that. I've got an A203 amplifier on it, and I've got some Mayhem armor. We're taking on some hoglos, which are some big bad boys who tend to drop a little bit more loot sometimes. So yeah, we're back at it. If you guys are new to my channel, or if you're new to my channel, thank you for joining, thank you for visiting. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button now that we're done with all that bullshit. If you're new to Entropia Universe, that's what I meant to say. Entropia Universe is a real cash economy, which means everything you see here on the screen is worth money, including the land that I'm running on. Someone actually bought this land for, I think it was about $25,000 back in the day, which blew some hearts and minds and souls, but it's worth a lot more now. So turned out to be a pretty good investment. Not as good as Bitcoin, but still pretty good. Yeah, I definitely kicked myself about that one. Crazy story. I tried to buy Bitcoin way back in the day. Thought it was too complicated and decided not to buy it. I'd be a multi-billionaire right now if I went for it, I think. Because I was trying to buy about $200 worth of Bitcoin, which at the time would have been 400 Bitcoins. Which, if you do the math on that, maybe not a billionaire, but I'd be living in a really nice place somewhere. But I probably would have sold it $100. You know, needed that money for college. Or not for... I say I need that money for college. I need that money for beer in college. I think that's a more truthful statement right there. Anyways, let's start killing some hoglo and see where we go with this thing. So we're just going to be taking these guys out. These are, as you can tell, these are some bigger mobs. I definitely wouldn't recommend you come out here unless you've got some good armor. You're going to see, even with this Mayhem armor, which is crazy good armor, definitely recommend it. It was given to me sort of as a gift. Yeah. But yeah, let's see what we can do here. So you can see, though, this armor is exceptionally good. I've got a video on armor, too. I definitely recommend all you people check it out. I drop a good shop there to check it out, the armor. I'm completely blanking on the name. Sorry, dude. I shouldn't be doing this. It's very unprofessional of me. But yeah, I've got a video on like what armor to wear in Entropia Universe. So I'd recommend everybody checks that out. Because whether you're a new player or an old player, armor can really help. One of the things about armor is whenever you put it on, you've got to accept the fact that your eco or your efficiency is going to go down, right? Because the name of Entropia Universe is basically getting your efficiency low enough to where you can kill mobs and make a profit. Everybody knows this, right? And one of the things with armor is obviously armor decays every time a mob hits you, so you're not going to be making profit off, well, you'll be making less when you're wearing armor, but sometimes it's worth it because you're going for a high enough markup item that what it means is basically not wearing armor would mean you couldn't kill that mob because it does so much damage. So you need armor, you need healing, you need stuff like that, and you want to do that so you can take on bigger mobs, or you're just like me. Honestly, the way I play the game at this point, if you look down here, my PD card, I've got about 336 PDs. That's equal to 33 USD. And that's just been adding up. Basically, I haven't been going too hardcore with Entropia Universe recently. So these deeds that make passive income, you just earn income from holding them. Hold, right? Basically, you earn income from holding these things, and they just give you PDs every week. And I've got about 5,000 USD worth, probably 6,000 now, maybe more. So you can see right here, 147 PDs or 14 USD. We're just going to transfer that into the card. And then we're going to bump in some land area income right here, 28 PDs of that. And there we go. We got 50 PDs just sitting there. Or, sorry, 50 USD or 500 PDs just sitting there. So, yeah, we're good to go. But, yeah, basically, I haven't been playing Entropia Universe too much because I've really been getting into... So, you guys saw I was going on a kick with Rust. Now I've got Valheim going on. And honestly, in real life, there's just a ton of stuff like going on with my work and all that. I've got some projects I was thrown into that really good opportunities for me, but so far behind. Like, I get thrown into this project, and it's like, all right, when's this thing due? Like, let's see what I can do here. And the guy I'm working with is like, yeah, it was due 2 weeks ago. I'm like, okay, 2 weeks ago. So all right, obviously we're either inventing a time machine or this project is like crazy behind schedule. And you guys can guess which one it is. I'm very smart, but I don't think I have the background to invent a time machine. So yeah, that's been stressful. And then I've got some just stuff in real life. I decided to, I think you guys know this, but I figure we can talk about this because this is sort of like a no docs situation, I think. So you guys know, like, I'm a city person through and through, right? Been in Boston, all that. But yeah, I just decided it was time to sort of move a little bit farther out to the suburbs. So we're going to be getting a bigger place. And what that means is I'll have more room to actually do some gaming stuff, do some nice videos, maybe get some background or backdrops or something like that, do some reviews on some of the stuff I bought. And all that, which I think will be really cool. But basically, I'm going to get some more space. But what that means is now I'm busy, like, cleaning up the apartment, getting it ready for renting, and then moving to a new place and cleaning that up. Some of my friends, the way they do it, they'll just, like, move into a place and they don't bother cleaning it. Personally, my wife's, like, crazy about that. She just wants it clean no matter what. But personally, I always like to clean a place when I move in. I feel like it's just, like, it's too, like, gunky, right? Like, I don't want to move into a place and, like, a week later be finding, like, shit in the fridge or something like that. Or just, I don't know. Like, I'd rather just go through the pain of, like, spending a weekend or two just cleaning, rather than, like, having this whole, like, year-long thing where you're just like, oh, was this my mess or is this the person before me that left it? And it's like, oh, you know, that's just not me, I guess. So yeah, it's gonna be a busy month or two here, and then depending on how this project goes, we'll see. Because that's the thing. That's how it works. Like, when I started working, it was like I'd be given a project and no one would expect anything from me. And if I come through on that, if I, like, could deliver it just even on time or just slightly delayed, people are happy. Now that I'm at, like, a more, I guess, senior role is what they'd say, they give me the projects that guy who came in and couldn't get it done gets. And then it's like, even with this one, it's like they give it to me in, like, literally an hour after I've been assigned to this project. Someone's like, when is this going to be done? Because the CEO is expecting it. And it's like, what do you mean he's expecting it? And it's like, well, we already announced it to, like, investors and they're waiting on it. And it's like, oh God, like, there's actual, like, money behind this and people are interested in this. I'm like, it's tough, you know? I mean, it's good. Like, don't shy away from those opportunities because that gives you the opportunity to expand your career, right? Like, if this goes good, it's a huge upside for the company, which in turn means huge sort of accolades and probably upside for me. At the very least, there's going to be a few, you know, very rich people who are going to be counted as my friends, at least, or not friends, but business acquaintances, which is always nice. But yeah, like, I'd say never shy away from that if you guys are looking for career advice. I don't know why you're coming to a Serial Overdrive video to get career advice because you don't even know. I could be bullshitting about this whole thing. I could be sitting in my parents' basement wondering what the fuck I did wrong in life and just bring you guys along for the ride. I promise I'm not, but you never know, right? You never know. People online are shady like that. That's the thing, too. It's always crazy to think, like, there's... It's so hard to get to know people online, right? Like, you guys watch this video, you have some idea for my personality, but at the same time, like, there's so many creators out there who want to make people feel like they've got this, like, super intense personal connection, but then at the same time, like, you don't even know their name. And it's like, oh, come on, like, you're watching an entertaining video, you're watching content, it's good content. Like, you know, everybody here likes to watch Entropia Universe videos, I assume. If you don't, let me know why you're watching. If you're watching just for the sound of my voice, thank you. Or the amazing content that I'm providing. Ooh, we might die here. But yeah, basically, like, you know, I mean, I want you guys to feel like you're part of the channel. I want everybody to feel accepted, blah, 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 you know, of course. But then one of the things is it's like people don't know that much about me because, unfortunately, one of the problems with the internet is, like, the second you let people know too much, like, someone's going to try and do something. They're going to try and dox you. They're going to try and do, like, They're gonna try and be an asshole, right? That's basically how it goes. And unfortunately, that's always been my experience. As much as I'd like to say, like, oh no, like, it's always been good. Like, no. There's a lot of people that just send you a lot of shit because they know you've got some sort of semblance of a following online. It's so crazy too, because it's like it must be so insane if you're, like, actually, like, a big creator, right? Because Me, not so much. Like most people are here just to help and everything like that. And I always want to help you guys out too, because I think there's like some mutual trust there, right? Like I want to help you guys out. You guys want to help me out, and we all sort of work together to just make like a fun little community. But when these guys get so big, right? Like if you're someone like Dream, Mr. Beast, Joe Rogan, like I don't know if they all fit in the same category. I know they definitely don't. But if you're anyone that big, you're basically like, you can make people, right? Like you can personally go up and give someone a new career just by shouting them out. And that's like such a crazy power to have, because you could completely ruin someone's life, or you could completely change it for the better. You know what I mean? Like you shout out a nonprofit group, someone who's actually doing good in this world, and they're going to have so much more ability to do good. But if you give out the wrong person's name, right, like some young impressionable kid, you just send them on this path that could just completely destroy their lives. Because that's one of the things that happens, right? When people come into money early and they're not prepared for that, like it's just so hard. I was lucky enough, honestly, like full disclosure, I was lucky enough. I told you just not to trust anything. I was lucky enough though that I was like raised pretty decently, like middle, maybe upper middle class, something like that. And what that means is like when I come into money, I know not to spend it and stuff like that. Like my parents like purposely did things to like teach me that. Like one of the things they used to do is basically give me an allowance. And then like my dad would wait until there was something I really wanted at the store, and then he'd be like, "Oh yeah, why don't you buy it?" Which just this sounds so mean. He'd sort of like nudge me that way to looking at it. Then I'd go up there and I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I want this. Like this is the best Lego." Like this when it really stuck. It was it was a castle Lego, right? I love castles. I really wanted a castle Lego, and I'm like, "Oh, I don't have enough money for it." So because my dad was like sort of nudging me to this, because he knew what he was going to be doing. He knew what was coming. I didn't. I was young. So I'm like, "Oh, I really want this. Can you just give me a little bit extra for it?" And my dad's like, "All right, how much do you need?" I think it was like $100, right? Which to a little kid, that's like an insurmountable amount. I'm like, it's $100. And I mean, as a kid, I'm thinking like, this is how is he gonna be able to afford $100? That's an amount of money that no one has ever seen. The $100 bill is mythical. We don't even know if that thing exists, as far as I'm concerned. My dad probably had like one in his back pocket or something, right? But he's like, "Okay, how much do you have?" I'm like, "I've got $20. And he's like, "Okay, how much did you have last week?" I'm like, "Well, I had $20 last week." And he's like, "What did you do with that money?" I'm like, "Well, I bought something else." He's like, "What would you rather have, this castle or that?" And I'm like, "Well, the castle." And then basically he just takes me back through like my spending history. And when we get like 5 back, he's like, "So if you gave up all of these, would you rather have the castle?" I'm like, "Yeah, I would." And he's like, "Well, why didn't you save up the money I gave you?" And it was just like mind blowing to me. It was like, that's an option. Like that is a thing I can do. But that like sort of really early, the fact that I still remember this is crazy, but that like really cemented the lesson for me. And I don't know, maybe it doesn't work for every kid, right? But like it really just cemented the lesson to me that it's like, okay, like if you save, like good things can happen. So generally like that's like one of the things, anytime I get a lot of money, you're never gonna, it's like this whole thing where people are like, "Oh, how are you gonna spend your $600 stimulus check?" I'm like, "Well, it's gonna go with the rest of my checks in the bank, and then it's going to be used at my discretion to buy things that I need." And recently I've been going a little overboard, but I'm like, all right, now I'm sort of dialing back into the saving a bit more. But yeah, like some people that just don't have those lessons. If you're one of those people, like seriously, just listen to what I said, think about it, and realize that like, if you don't spend your money on everything right now, you can save it up and buy some really cool stuff in the future. You can even buy your time. It turns out that's a literal thing you can do. So if you think about every day, every hour that you spend at work, miserable, hating life, just wishing that someone would come and save you from that, you can save yourself. You really can. All you need to do is save that money up, right? Because every dollar you save is an early, it means that you can retire just a little bit earlier. And think about that time, that money that you're saving, it's time that you're buying for yourself later on, and then wonder if it's worth it. Obviously, don't save everything. I'm completely against that. I know some people that do that, and it's like, come on, dude. Like, you could get hit by a bus tomorrow, right? Like, don't live like you're going to get hit by a bus tomorrow, but always know that you should have, like, some, like, fun time in the moment, I think. So, yeah, in a game, Entropia Universe, where you spend hundreds of dollars hunting virtual animals, I am talking about saving money, and, yeah. Little ironic. A little ironic. You guys are watching me shoot bullets through an imaginary virtual rifle, and it all cost me real money. Yeah. I like the irony there. Sorry, I'm just checking the time here. I've got to be a virtual conference I've got to attend. Turns out that you don't really go anywhere when there's COVID around. Yeah, where was he going? Oh, yeah, but yeah, like, that's the thing. Like, some people, they get on YouTube, they spend all their money, and then the problem is at the end of it, basically, you've had a really good career, you've had a really good run of things, you've made a ton of money, but then you spent it all on Lamborghinis, and it turns out that, like, you know, that money probably should have lasted you the rest of your life, but in the end, it lasted you, like, 2 years because you thought it was going to be forever. You know, if someone gets big on YouTube, if any people listening get big on YouTube, treat it like a 2 to 5 year career, not a 20 to 30 year career. What I've got, programming, that's a 20 to 30 year career, right? Like, in 20 or 30 years, I know there's a very high chance that someone is going to need my skill set. As an entertainer, there is a chance that could happen, but there's also a chance that you're just going to die out in 2 to 5 years. Same with this channel. Like, if you look at CerealOverdrive, the channel, like, it has its peaks and valleys and everything like that. It's not a sure thing, right? And that's how it works for anyone. It doesn't matter the size. If you look, there's a ton of million subscriber channels that are just sort of dead in the water right now. And then there's some 100,000 view channels that are doing amazing. You know, there's some people who they manage to make it into, like, the cultural ethos. And I think that's like long term right there. Like, if you're PewDiePie, Mr. Beast, you're Dream, you're Joe Rogan, you're one of these people. I keep mentioning Joe Rogan in there because he's just such a big number pull, even though he's on Spotify now, which I don't like that, but whatever. I know people are, like, blowing their minds right now because I listen to Joe Rogan. I think he's a good conversationalist. Don't agree with all his opinions, but he's a pretty cool dude, it sounds like, and he does really good interviews. Anyways, what was I saying? Yeah, so, like, if you look at all that, like, there's I don't know where I'm going with all this. I think you guys do, though. Maybe. So yeah, what was I going to talk about? Entropia Universe. Let's get some Entropia talk in here because I've got to go in a bit, but yeah, not much has really changed with Entropia Universe. My guess is the way it works, I think, with Mindark is they do big updates, maybe quarterly or, like, every 2 quarters. So you're going to be sort of sitting here. There's not going to be much happening, but then at some point things are really going to pop off. A lot of the other planets are releasing stuff right now. I think they've got Codex missions for Tulun, I believe it is. Tulan, however you want to say that. I don't know how to pronounce it. Don't get too mad at me, folks. But yeah, there's probably Codex stuff for some of those planets. That's always cool to see. But yeah, I don't know. It's not too much going on right now, I'd say. Let's convert this. I just want to drop some probes, see what we can do. There's no hoglos, so I figure I might as well drop some probes. I've had some really good luck out here at Treasure Island, so you never know, right? Binary fluid. That used to actually be a high markup component. No more, though. So yeah, those of you guys new, Entropia Universe, like I said, everything's real cash. There's basically 3 big professions: mining, hunting, and crafting. If you've made it this far into the video and you're not that interested in Entropia Universe, thank you for being interested in my channel. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's just been busy recently. And one of the things is one of the reasons that I haven't been doing these videos as much, it's not that I'm actually, like, not playing Entropia at all. It's just that the short form videos where I record a lot of gameplay, edit it up into, like, a how-to guide or something like that, and then I record the audio over that just works better because then there's less talking and everything like that. One thing a lot of people think is, like, oh yeah, if you play with me online, like, I'm going to jump on the mic and we'll be chatting back and forth, but that's just not the situation I'm in now. I think probably when I move, it'll be a little bit easier, but I need to just sort of keep the volume down, right? So when I do something like this, it's a little bit longer, and I've got to articulate myself. We've got 20 minutes of talking. Like, it's just not the best, right? Like, I can find 5 minutes to just quickly be like, hey, CerealOverdrive here. Here's a couple tips. Here's a few things. I sort of, think through what I'm going to say early on. Just bing, bang, boom, get it out there. Then I edit everything together. The editing takes a while, but the actual, like, noise part of it doesn't. And with these, it's sort of the opposite, right? Editing doesn't take so long, but the talking, the noise, it's more consistent for a longer period of time. So yeah, that's one of the reasons you've seen me sort of stray away from the classic like Entropia Universe playthrough and more towards sort of guides and stuff like that. But overall, I'm pretty happy with how everything's going, and I wanna make sure you guys are happy with it too, right? I want to make sure that everybody feels included in this, because the last thing I want is for people to think that I hate Entropia Universe or anything like that. Because I really do like the game, and this is one of the few games out there that when I sit down to play it, I get those like old school feels, And it's getting rarer and rarer these days. I'm getting old. But this is one of those few games that I sit down and I start playing and I just feel like, oh yeah, this is right. This is fun, Like, got this giant hoglo here. I'm shooting it. We got a nice little lake. I'm just sitting back, relaxing. It's like a very chill atmosphere that a lot of games don't have anymore. There's no sweatiness to this, right? Like, I don't feel like the fact that I'm not really doing much, I'm trying to get better, means anything in this game. It's just like, yeah, I can just sit back, I can shoot some PDs through this rifle, I can relax, everything's good. If you guys have recommendations for games like that, 100% ears. If you got one, drop it right now, because I'm so interested in that. And part of it is nostalgia, right? Like, this is a game I was playing when I was younger, right? I've been playing for a while. And I remember like getting on, and this was back in the days. Like, everybody was just on, like, they were in chat here. There's some people in like IRC, if anyone remembers that, like the old school chat rooms back in the days. All the hackers and scripters and all those people that hang out there. But every sort of game had its own little chat room and all that. You had your PHP bulletin board forums. Those were super popular. Entropia Universe had its form, and everybody would like hang out in those things. We just talk back and forth, and no one was online unless they had a computer, right? Which was a big change. Nowadays, like, you jump into my Discord. I've got a Discord down in the description. I've got Twitter and Twitch too. If you follow me on Twitch, you'll see I haven't really streamed in forever. But anyways, those are the shout outs. But yeah, like, no one would be online unless they're actually online, and it was like such a cool experience. I felt like, yeah, I really sort of. I don't know. I mean, things are better now, but I do miss being disconnected sometimes. That's one of the things I do. When traveling comes back, one of the things I definitely recommend is if you travel to another country, don't get a SIM card. It's good to have for an emergency, but don't get a SIM card that you can check Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff with. Get a SIM card where data is precious, where you do not want to use one bit of data that you don't have to. That is the best experience ever, because you're just disconnected from the world and you feel like you're really just sort of enjoying things. Even around my city now, like, that's what I'll do in Boston, right? Like, just leave the phone at home, go for a walk, right? Or even better yet, sometimes I'll take the phone, I'll just pop in my headphones, play some music. We got some Red Hot Chili Peppers going, some Green Day, some Offspring, Strokes, a little Juice, whoever, right? Like, get any of them going, right? Any of the good stuff. Get them going and just go for a walk. And depending on, like, set the mood, right? Like, make it feel good, but then don't look at your phone. Don't sit there and constantly check some bullshit that doesn't matter, because it really doesn't, right? Like, if someone likes your photo on Instagram, that like is going to be there when you get done. If someone watches my video on YouTube, that view is still going to be there when I get done with the walk. Like, whether or not you check these things, it doesn't even matter. So it's like, just sort of put that all down, and I don't know. I like it, at least. It's relaxing. And it's like, it's good to be disconnected. You're just not always there. You're more in the moment, and you can really sort of enjoy things. It's so crazy. Like, when I do that, there's so many things, like, architecturally. Like, I really do love architecture, right? Like, I'm not an architect or anything like that, but I like to see this old stuff, this old history, and imagine, like, what life was like when this was built, right? Like, when you're in an old city, right? Like, you're walking down the street, there's buildings from the 1800s, and it's like, man, this was built before World War I. Like, when this was built, people thought that the car wasn't going to be around for long because horses would outperform it forever or something like that, right? Like, people, these crazy notions, these things that just, nowadays we'd hear that and our minds would go nuts. We'd be like, you really believe something that dumb? But people are the same nowadays, right? There's a ton of people who think automated cars won't take off because they can drive better. And it's like, well, look, you make a mistake, you learn from it. And one car makes a mistake, all the cars learn from it. Automated cars are going to end up winning because they're just going to be able to learn more. There we go. I saw that fruit that time. But yeah, I just love doing that. And one of the things that you really notice too is if you're just sort of in the moment paying attention, you just notice so much more that's like changed in the world. So many like old things that like they've almost been forgotten, but they're still there, and like there's a story behind it. It's very cool to experience. And I like that. One of the things that too I like doing is like when it's like a little cold out, like a nice chill to it. Even if it's like a little bit of snow, not too much, just going for a walk, because it's like that's the perfect environment. Like when it's sunny and all that, like everybody's out, it's really good. But like there's a lot going on, right? Like there's a sort of like desolate solitude that you feel when it's like raining out and you're on a walk or something like that. And I don't know, personally, like that's my thing. I love that. So yeah, that's a recommendation, I guess. But yeah, when you travel, I definitely recommend that too, because it's just not having the cell phone. It just keeps you in the moment so much more. And you can download maps, and GPS will work no matter what. So like you're not completely alone. You're not completely lost. And it is good to have a backup. Like the last thing you want to do is just be lost. And in some places it's safer to use Ubers. So like don't take this advice to this extreme, but basically, sometimes it's refreshing to put down the cell phone, I think. And that's not because I'm a boomer, because if you look at it, folks, if you take a really hard look at this, I'm not that old. Yeah. Anyways, let's keep going here. I think we're probably going to be calling it soon, because I do have to get going. This video is around almost 30 minutes, which is pretty good, I think. 30-minute Entropia Universe video once a month. That's sort of where I'm at right now. Not the best. I do apologize for it, but it's something. It's the best I can do. So we started out, what do we have, 56? 72 PEDs of ammo, I think. Right now we've got, what do we have here? Got 23 here. 37 here. We got about 59 PEDs, 50. 65 PEDs. We start out with 72, so we've probably taken about 7 PED loss, plus armor decay and amp decay, which is actually going to be quite significant. I did drop some probes. I just remembered that, so we got to count that in there. So let's say that's like 3 PEDs. So yeah, we've lost about 4 PEDs in ammo, which isn't too bad, all things considered. I'm going to head back, though, this way, and let's see if we can't run into one more hoglow or something like that. I wouldn't mind taking one more out. This isn't for codex or anything like that. I just like hunting these guys because this was, for some reason, in my mind, this was always the mob that, like, I was successful once I could take these out. And back in the day, like, back when I started playing, like, L armor didn't exist. I mean, L guns didn't exist either. Like, limited armor, limited guns, they didn't exist. Way more efficient, way cheaper nowadays. Like, way cheaper of an option. But to be able to hunt something like a hoglow, that meant that you had, like, some really, like, uber gear. And nowadays it doesn't quite mean the same thing, but it still has that same sort of feeling for me. I'm like, ooh, I can do this. So yeah, I really do enjoy hunting these bad boys, because it's like, it's that next step up. Like Aatrox, when I could take those, it was like, oh, there we go. Like that's something of note. That's like a note for the journal, right? Well, I can't take on hoglows. Now this is like another like little like check mark on my list. I don't know what comes after this, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know, because I think hoglows, those were always sort of like top mob in my mind. Maybe spiders, if I could solo one of those, that would be crazy. But for some reason, I'm not as attached to that one. That used to be so much fun too. Like one of the things we used to do, I think nowadays it's like frowned upon, but you try and get like spiders into like teleporters, right? And then they just kill all these people who are there, which was, I don't know, that was always interesting. It was like, I like how this mob's going unreachable. Look at how this works, right? Like I'm walking backwards. I'm playing the game to like what I should be doing effectively to be efficient. And because I'm walking backwards, I think that mob's setting itself to unreachable, so my shots aren't counting because it's not getting an attack on me in. I think that's what's going on there. But that's, I don't know. I think that's a glitch. But it's just like, that's annoying. But yeah, like the whole thing back in the day used to be you try and like invade teleporters with mobs. You get them past the turrets and then everybody's got to deal with it. And that always I know a lot nowadays people find it annoying, but I always found that was like it was fun for the person doing it because you didn't have vehicles back then. So like if someone brought a spider to Twin Peaks and got it past the turret, it meant that they spent like hours to drag it there, right? They dragged it across the map. And then they unleashed hell on Twin Peaks, and everybody's got to get together and like team up. It was always like calls go out in society chat. It's like, get here now. Everybody, we've got a team set up. We need to take this thing out. It's destroying the new players. They need help. And that was like, yeah, that was like a big thing. It was always so much fun. The good old days. And you know, these days are just as good, folks. These days really are. Like there's good shit going on everywhere, every day, every hour. You know, people are making good memories. Good things are happening. Everybody's having a good time. You know, I mean, it's been rough with 2020 and all that with COVID, but it's there's still some moments I'll treasure. That's for sure. And I think everybody can say the same thing. You know, you're gonna look back on these days and be like, oh man, that was sort of nice when it was like you felt like you were doing your part just by staying in, doing your thing. I don't know. That's good too. Not in the same way. And obviously, I'd rather there no COVID than COVID, but you know what I'm saying. Anyways, let's total everything up. Like I said, we went out with about 72 PEDs. Let's drop all this in. So we got 69. We lost about 3 PEDs on the hunt overall in ammo. Count that in. We lost about 15 PEDs. Not too bad. Not too shabby, I'd say. Not too great. Not too bad. Anyways, thank you so much, everybody, for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope that you guys liked this video. I hope that you guys, you know, thanks for sticking with me. I know that, like, my channel's content switches all over the place. And, you know, if you're watching this, you're probably not that interested in my guides. But I really do appreciate the fact that people still support me. They still come out. They still hit the like button. They still watch these videos. And they still, you know, hang out in Discord, talk with me and everything like that. I really appreciate it. It makes my day just a little bit better, you know, and hopefully I can do the same to you. I know some people are always like, you know, some people, they see these videos come out and they'll even say to me, they're like, oh yeah, I saw that came out. It was like, okay, I knew my day was like, I had a nice little end to the day. I'm not saying that I'm going to, you know, like something horrible happens and I'll make things better for you, but it's nice to know that I can help just a little bit, because that's the end goal of this channel. I'm always glad that I can make it happen. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys liked the video. If you have comments, anything like that, just leave them down below. If you're new to the channel, like I go back 9 years and I'm still answering comments on those videos. So if you leave a comment today, I'll probably answer it no matter when today is. And if I don't, like, the channel got too big and that would suck. But hopefully that won't happen for a long, long time. Maybe never. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, peace.